So I've been debating on whether I should spend more time focusing on making my videos look pretty and presentable and more eye-catching and better to, I guess, better quality. Um, and it takes a lot of energy. It does. It takes a lot of focus, energy, and time. And I have a lot of videos to get out. Like I have a lot of priestessing and guidance, ancestral messages that I need to share, and a lot of messages from gods, spirits, things like that. I need to share it with the world, like things that I've been being called to see things. For example, through my family or through society, like through social media. Just little things here and there that I notice. That just it's my God's pointing out little things that this is ingrained into society, and we need somebody to speak out on, and not just against, but because these ingrained beliefs is not something that it's not something we choose to do, right? We're not choosing to believe this. So acting against somebody is not the healthy thing to do. What they need is education and instruction and help, really. And so that's my purpose. That's my my job, basically. What I'm being called to do, because I have these things to share. I know what needs to be done in these certain areas. I know the belief and what it comes from my own psychic abilities, and from my clairaudience and um, clear cognitive, and my empathic abilities, and my abilities, what I've been through in my life, that have taught me lessons and has changed me, and so that I can now look at and all these things, not just for me, but this is my specific purpose. And you can take that, like your experiences, what you know, and look at all that, put it all together, and you can find out what your purpose is based on that. What are you being called to do? And so this is what I'm being called to do. And I'm not being called to make it pretty. I'm not being called to, because I can, but it takes so long, and I have so many videos. And I will never be able to get to all of them if I'm focusing and worrying about making it pretty and presentable and eye-catching and good quality. The quality comes from what I am speaking about, and that is my strength in this. And I need to focus on my strength. I need to focus on what I am providing for you. I'm not providing prettiness. I'm providing honesty and truth and healing. So I have been wanting really hard. I've been wanting really much to make it pretty. Like I want to change up my style and things, but I need to focus on actually just saying these things more. Maybe in the future, maybe I'll have somebody I can work with who can do those things, and spend their time, their focus on it, because I can do these things. Like I have the skill to do it, because I believe in being independent. Like if you can't do it, that's a difference, right? There's a difference if you can't do it. I can. I have the skill too. It's just the fact that it takes so much time away from the real purpose of it. And eventually I do want to get somebody to help me out with that, though. Because to me, if I was somebody watching the videos, I would want more eye-catching. It would just be more helpful and more help to get more people. Anyway, with that being said, I was called throughout the little situations, little events that happened today, and what led up to those, what those events led up to. I was being called to speak upon this specific situation, this specific topic today. And the specific topic is, this is a very specific topic, okay? It might not be for everybody. It might not be for a lot of people, but I encourage you to, like, take out certain words and personalize this message to you for what you're going through right now. Maybe maybe it applies to you in a certain way, but I can't be general about it. I need to be very specific because we need voices for this specific topic. But if, it's also for everybody too. You can, in your own time, take out the certain words that don't apply to you, and then put words that do apply to you in those words. Just fit it to match you, okay? So let me get my notebook. So the topic is, so people who are indigenous to America, I can't speak about Mexico or South America or, other places. I can only speak about America, okay? Because I also believe in speaking on what you are capable of speaking about. Like, I can't speak upon African American people because I'm not African American. I can't speak on, other things because I'm not that. While I do have suggestions and ideas about what African American women, how they should style their hair, like maybe they should make it more natural, to honor their ancestors and honor their culture and their race. But I can't, and that's my idea, that's my suggestion, but I can't go and say, well, you shouldn't, wear wigs or those things, because I'm not African, and so I'm not. Maybe it's in their now culture. Maybe it's for some reason, and I also can't. Like, I have, based on my own indigenous culture, I have beliefs, but it's not. I can't. I'm not allowed to, based on my own virtues and values. And even if I have a black friend or commenter saying, I give you permission, I still wouldn't want to, because this is my own values. I wouldn't want somebody coming to me and saying, this is how you're supposed to be Native American. And so I give other people that same respect. That's just my virtues and values, and I live by my virtues. So it's about, the topic is specifically, like, women. I want to be very specific about this because this is what I can speak on, and this is what needs voices. I've noticed, I've seen that this specific area needs voices. Women who are lighter skinned or, so it can be, like, very white, from tan to, like, pale white, maybe your features don't exactly match, maybe you have blue eyes, you have blonde hair maybe, you don't look Native American, or you don't, you're not capable of finding your ancestors because your specific family tree was more assimilated into the white culture than other people. And maybe you don't know your ancestors or family tree. Like, you don't have a specific, or maybe you do, and you know that there is Native American, but you can't prove it, right? This is for those people. And you might question, well, if I don't look Native American, if I can't prove that I'm Native American, that's not Native American. I'm just wanting to be Native American because it's a cool thing. That kind of belief. I had that in my head too. I thought, and I look back on why I think like that or feel like that, and it comes from other people saying that. So let me get into the notes that I have because it makes more sense, starts to make more sense. So this started from how to reconnect with your heritage and ancestors with this when you have this specific situation. Let me close that door. So I just got up and closed the door. Like I just sat back down. Hey Mary, you little shit. You know that? You're a little... So, one thing about Native American culture, right? It's all indigenous cultures are very word of mouth. They pass down their spirituality, their traditions, their teachings, everything verbally. Not writing anything, and this is a specific reason for that. Not because that's what's convenient, but there's actually like how I live by my virtues, and I stick to them. That's something that is a tradition, okay. But with that, right, with words being passed down, it's kind of like telephone. When you say something to somebody, like you pass it back and forth, and the person who starts it, what they say is completely different from what the other person at the end says, right? Because each person might change it up a little bit. They might hear something else and they change it up a little bit. And so that can happen in your family as well, with traditions, and this is our family culture and things like that, So I grew up hearing from my dad and from my mom and from my grandparents and from most people in my family that I'm Cherokee, specifically Cherokee. And when I was like a teen, around 15, 16, 17 years old, I went to someone a little bit older than those people, a little bit more closer to the original, He would know exactly what's going on. And they said, we were Choctaw. And I was like, oh, I never heard of that. I don't even know what that is. Like, everybody knows what Cherokee is, anybody, It's a very common word, Cherokee. Choctaw, I had never heard it before, so I thought, okay, that's more, and I researched it, and I looked up, like, what Choctaws look like, and I'm like, I look more like Choctaw, like, I know I just said you can't go by what you look like, you can't always go by that, but when I looked up Choctaw, I thought, and I compared Choctaw to Cherokee, I thought I looked more like Choctaw than Cherokee. And also, think about it like this. With indigenous cultures and things like that, it wasn't like it is now, like, in this society, it's like, okay, what is your blood percentage? Like, specific percentage, like 1%, like, little, like, percentage. It's numbers. It wasn't like that. You grew up in this tribe, you were raised by this tribe, and then you might have been a woman who was stolen, and kidnapped and sold to this tribe, and then you become that tribe. You're just, it's not about blood. It was never about blood in tribes. Just because you were born in this tribe, with your parents come from this tribe, or you have the blood of this tribe, um, doesn't mean that you are from that tribe, and just because you don't have any blood from this tribe doesn't mean you're not part of that tribe. Does that make sense? So it was never like that in the history of Native American regions and tribes and things like that. That only started when, oh, that's a colonial thing. That's a white thing, and I've been learning more about like what white, because I always thought just the word white supremacy or white just sounds so racist. It's like, it's not about color. The white, it's not about, because I'm very proud of my Celtic heritage too. And so it's not about like the Celtic or European. It's about, it's a belief system. It's like it's almost like a philosophy. It's like a philosophy or something that you adopt, like a belief system, and a culture kind of. It's not a color. It's not a race. It's not a region. It's not. It's like a, I don't know how to explain it. It's a belief system that you promote. So colonialization and white, that makes more sense when you think of it that way. Let me get my thoughts back. So the blood percentage is more of that kind of, the belief system. That it comes from this belief system of the colonialization, the white supremacy type thing. Bear with me, okay? My mind is suddenly just not wanting to register things. Oh, that's what I was, okay. So, the Choctaw, right? So I was researching and talking to somebody about this. And I was like, okay, I looked up on Ancestry. I was researching a little bit a while ago because I like doing things myself. I like to learn skills. Like if there's a skill that I don't know, I'm gonna learn how to do it and make sure I am capable of doing it, and become the best I can be at it. Just to say I can do that skill. Like I'm not gonna actually do it or rely on myself to do it, because doing every single thing in this history of the world for yourself, like, that's too much. You have to let other people help you sometimes, because you can't do everything, you have to pick and choose. What are you going to do for yourself, and the way you can hire or contract out for, support for time or for convenience or things. So I learned how to be a professional, like, really good genealogist. And so I did that, I worked on that, and I looked up a lot of the history of my family on one side, one specific person. My dad's mom's family. And because I picked her because she was the one, sorry, I just burped. She was the one everybody talked about being Cherokee. And then, I don't know specifically who or what the Choctaw is. I don't know if she was Choctaw, actually, not Cherokee. The hard thing with that is that my dad's family is big, but it's very spread out, very mentally ill, which a lot of things um, that are very common in Native American, like modern Native American cultures and societies, we have. And this all comes from what was done to us. Not because this is who we are, but it was done to us, like alcoholism. Um, it's actually a statistic, like it's a real thing that um, Native Americans are the more. I think they're even more likely to be alcoholics than Irish people. Like that's big. Um, but alcoholism, mental illness, suicide, um, things like that. A lot of that, and then the poverty, um, and the fact that white supremacy does not help us, and because we're not white, because white isn't a color that culture or system of the system of that white supremacy. We're not part of that system, even though we might look like it to some people. So just a lot of those things like that is the proof. So I was looking up like what the area was most commonly, what my family came from was Virginia, Tennessee, West Virginia, North Carolina, things like that. And what Cherokee did, like Eastern Cherokees did, like Cherokees came from this area, and then they were pushed um, the Trail of Tears. People who didn't, they said, okay, I'm just gonna pass as white, and that's another thing with my family. I noticed that we do tend to just just do what the status quo says to protect ourselves. And that would make sense for my ancestors to do that, to be one of those Cherokees who said, or Choctaws, who said, I'm white enough. I'm just not going to sign the Dawes Roll or say that I'm Cherokee. I'm just going to give that up and just protect myself and do what I have to do to survive, so I don't have to move, and so I can stay here, and I have enough connections. I have enough white coloring, things like that. And so that when you have people like that in your ancestry, it's not that, it's sad that they felt like they had to do that. That's not something that you should think, oh, my ancestors are bad for doing that. They're horrible people. They were fucking lazy. Or it's not like that. It's like the fact that they had the fact that they had to do that. That's the problem. That's what the problem is. Not the fact that they did it, but the fact that they felt like they had to. That's the problem. And I knew, so when we talk about generational curses and breaking generational curses, I've always kind of felt like that was one of them. I just had that sense, that feeling in my head, and I noticed it in my family a lot, that they just did what was expected of them and just kind of just let go of their authenticity or what they just to survive, and that's something that's comes to me, and now that I'm that kind of person, that spiritual person, that person who it stops with me, that curse, that continuing, that habit, that cycle stops with me. But I was looking at, like I said, with the areas. I was looking at what different peoples, different tribes that lived around this area. So there's Cherokee, Eastern Cherokee, but also there is Chickahominy. And I thought, okay, the fact that people say Cherokee, but then they older people said no, it was Choctaw. Maybe that same thing happened with with that, and it was actually Chickahominy. So that's something that might be possible. And the thing with Chickahominy is that it wasn't a recognized tribe for a long time, like the Cherokees were. Like the Cherokees were the biggest, most recognized tribe like ever, I think, because they assimilated the most, unfortunately. What I say unfortunately is the fact that the people who told them to assimilate, they thought, oh, see, you're better than everybody else because you are assimilating. See, I'm going to teach everybody else that it's a good thing to do. And that's what I say, that's why I say that is unfortunate. That's wrong. Not the fact that they did it. Another thing that some family members have said is Blackfoot. And I always thought that, but then recently I've been thinking, that's not even, I don't even live on that area. That's way somewhere else. And I was talking to somebody about that, and like going back to word of mouth and going down, passing the phone game, right? And it's changing. If the word Blackfoot is common in your family, that word from the telephone game can come from an actual derogatory word. Have you ever heard the word Black Irish or Black Dutch? I know, like, I never knew this was like a derogatory word for Native Americans, or it's a derogatory word for like mixed. I never knew that. Maybe other people know that, but that's what that word Blackfoot might come from. Black Dutch or Black Irish. I don't know how that goes with like redskin or like Injun. I'm not really sure what those words like come from. I don't know why. I mean, I get redskin maybe, and we call ourselves red, but Injun and Black Dutch, Black Irish, I don't get where those words come from. Those derogatory words. There's other ones too, as well. I can't think of all of them right now, but there's some that I'm just like, I don't really understand. So that's one thing to keep in mind. When you have stories passed on, like even the story of like, because people always talk about like, oh my god, white girls, white women always think they're like an Indian princess. They relate to an Indian princess, a Native American princess. There's no such thing. Well, the fact that it was in your family story in the first place, means it came from somewhere. Nobody just your ancestor, like your great 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 grandma didn't just one day sit up in bed and was like, you know what, I'm just gonna pretend I'm an Indian princess. Like, it came from somewhere, okay? So, telephone game. It passed down, and ideas were like misconstrued, and cultures were mixed. Words didn't translate well, things like that. And this is what it means in our culture, and this is what it means in their culture, and So how can we, as these people that we're just kind of mixed and we don't really fit in anywhere, and we don't really have a family, like we don't have, like the white family that we have, or the white culture that we have doesn't like work with us, it doesn't help us, it doesn't benefit us. and we're not really part of it. We like something they might think that on the outside, externally, they might think, okay, you fit in, but really deep down, they know that something's off. Like you don't really fit in, and they might act that way, and they might not even recognize it themselves, but something deep down is like you don't fit in. This is not always about neurodivergence or things like that, like mental illness. Like it's not always about you. Sometimes it's about them. Like might be like this is your ancestor, or this is not neurodivergence. It's neurotypical. You're neurotypical for your own culture. Like you guys look at it that way. You're different from that culture, but that your actual culture, you are actually normal. So how can we kind of fit in, and how can we not fit in like in a bad way, but how can we belong? How can we learn and heal from this? So something we can do, if you're one of these people. And I also, like, I have some tips for, like, extroverts, and I have tips for introverts, and you have to really honor yourself. Don't force yourself or push yourself to do something that is not natural to you. That's the whole point of this, is to honor yourself. So attending powwows, seasonal celebrations, and spiritual ceremonies. And try to narrow down some tribes, like Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickahominy, and the woman who the race said was Cherokee or Choctaw. Her surname was Collins, so I looked that up and I was like, is that like could that be a name for Native American? And apparently it can be a common name in like mixed families, like mixed African American, mixed Native American, mixed white. It's common for that, and it's called Melungeons. Melungeons. I have not studied that, researched that yet. I just saw that word. That's all I found. And I'll be going deeper into that word later. But I don't know if that's like a surname or a tribe, or I don't know what that word means. But narrow down your tribe and then kind of look up like traditional crafts and art for Cherokee and Choctaw. It's beadwork, pottery, weaving, and storytelling, which storytelling is mostly prominent in every tribe. I think most of this is prominent in every tribe. Learn about the spiritual practices and sacred beliefs. I have a lot of books. Like I have historical books. I have native healing medicine. So there's like, native medicine, right? You know how we think like Wiccans and pagans. We think we see the word magic, spells. It's the same concept, but it's called medicine. Medicine is for Eastern spirituality. It's energy work. For Celtic kind of spirituality, it's spell work and magic, and Native American is called medicine. So, medicine wheels, smudging, spirit animals, and dreams and visions. Ancestral healing and practice through meditation, visualization, ceremony, and calling on ancestors for guidance and healing. Also trauma healing, because the trauma continues with us from generation to generation. So shadow work, somatic healing, spiritual cleansing, and native, looking up, you can even look up therapists that specialize in this kind of like identity struggles with this as well. and reparenting and self-compassion. So struggles with identity and rejection, and work on loving the parts that are too native and too white to belong. So work on your root chakra. Work on your root chakra. And join Native organizations, groups that focus on Native rights. MMIWG. I do some vlogs about that. I think every Wednesday. So, local tribal organizations, volunteering, join protests, sign petitions, write to policymakers, support Native artists, authors, and activists. And I was researching some Native music artists. And so there is Supaman, Supaman, and a lot of this Native American music is like rap. That is, it's not something I'm usually interested in. I'm not interested in rap. But the words, it's really, if you just pay attention to the words, it really talks about things that you might be like, it might be very profound for you to listen to. So there's Art Carlos, which is traditional Native music. So there's like, I think the modern Native American music, less traditional, is more rap kind of music, rap genre, and I don't really care for it, but I like the words, so. I'm planning on hosting a community healing event soon. I don't have any details about it yet, but I will, if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, which my name on Instagram is author N Phoenix, and my Facebook is the same, I think. Or N Phoenix, just N Phoenix maybe. But if you follow me on those, you might see some updates about that, and that's where I will host them as well. At the community healing event for specifically these people, us women who are feeling this type of way about where we fit in with the different 2 or 3 or 4 different cultures that we are part of. Learn about land back and indigenous sovereignty organizations, like they're it's a word I'm looking for. It's like they're fighting for. No. I know what the word is. Reclaim identity and beauty. Specifically, white beauty standards versus Native beauty. So let's talk about that a little bit. So, what is white? What is white? Like, not white, like skin color, but like the colonialization, the unnatural, the capitalist, unnatural belief system, that belief system, that system, okay? So those white standards of beauty, skin, flawless, that kind of, you know, you have to look like you're have that what is it? The app that makes your skin clear, like the filters. Yes, filters. Your natural skin has to look like that. Like that's a white beauty standard. Hair straight, silky, long, wavy, but like tamed, right? Like not like this, okay? But like, see, this is messy, but I brushed it and it's natural, okay? This wouldn't be a beauty. This isn't a beauty standard. Deemed unprofessional and messy because they're always worried about professionality. That's all that life means to them. When I say them, I mean like the system. Facial features symmetrical, small nose, sharp jawline, high cheekbones, soft feminine features, body shape thin, athletic, or slim thick, which I could be considered that, okay, but like this right here, right, that white society tells us that ew, like do something about that. No, that's actually attractive. That's actually pretty. Those little soft curves, those natural, natural with the scars. If you watch my most recent Sims 4 LP, you see that Native American woman. That's what white society, white system says is ugly. And I thought, wow, that's beautiful. The naturalness of it is just so beautiful. And then hair removal. We're very, very, like right here, or like, your eyebrows are shaving completely off. Gotta make it look very Barbie-esque, I guess. Sharp lines, shaving your armpits, shaving everywhere. Like you got not even shaving, but like waxing. That's a white, systematic beauty standard. Now, the native beauty. So skin is many different shades. It's going from light olive to deep brown. Scars, stretch marks, and natural imperfections are seen as signs of beauty. Hair is sacred, long, thick, without too much tressing. Braiding. Braiding means interwoven between body, mind, and soul. It's all connected. And so when you're braiding, you're connecting that. You're symbolizing that. Facial features. Broad cheekbones. Maybe not high cheekbones. Not thin, narrow cheekbones, but broad cheekbones, strong noses, full lips, prominent foreheads. So we might think, in this systemic culture, like, oh, my forehead is too much. That's okay. It's okay to have a broad forehead. That's it. Or prominent forehead. That's a Native American or indigenous to all cultures, I think, thing, because it's natural, and to make try to look unnatural is against indigenous beauty, because indigenous is about nature. It's natural. Identity. Traditional regalia, beadwork, natural fabrics, traditional jewelry, and hair growth and body hair. And land-based beauty. So, You might think, why why you all goth? Because, for one, that's what I find beautiful, and that's what's authentic to me. And two, if you really think about it, it's natural. So goth is the finding beauty in darkness, right? So it's night time. It's night sky. It's darkness, death. There was this remember this Crow movie that had a Native American man in it? It's kind of like it showed like dark shamanic, like the skull and like a crow skull and black beadwork, black clothing, like leather and things like that. And that would be me. That would be perfect for me. I would love that. So, I wrote down this. I wrote down, I am not too white or too native. I am uniquely me. My appearance is not by accident. My ancestors designed me to be exactly as I am. Celebrate skin imperfections. Use natural remedies for skin care. And I am a living prayer. My features, hair, and skin are exactly as they should be. So, I have some little notes, like there is some beliefs that people have, even people who are indigenous or of other races other than their traditional, just mixed as generic, race, but like actual cultural races, like cultural, trying to fit in how, like trying to figure out how to word these without singling anybody out, because we're all important. Every race is important in their own specific individual way. What is the white supremacy belief is that none of us are important, and that merging together and then not remember, like, assimilation, right? That's the white supremacy idea, and it's not about not connecting with in community and not allowing diversity. That's the point. That's what white supremacy is about. It doesn't want diversity. Yeah, because if you look at, it's like, for example, this is which white neighborhood. I might not be white in skin tone. I might be like 50% white and 50% black, but it might still be considered a white neighborhood because of what it represents, like the patriarchal, and not, it's all like every house is the same, grass is the same, no culture in that area. Very focused on hard work, like work and work for work's sake. So there are beliefs in this white supremacy that's the point of assimilation, right? Where our tradition, our culture, it's hard for us to distinguish what is us and what is them, that they made us, that they pushed onto us, and that we assimilated it to. And we need to distinguish those things. And try to do without those, in my opinion. Try to do without those things that we adopted to assimilate, so that we can be our unique, individualistic, authentic self, so that we can have diversity, because a whole, right? A whole needs different parts, like a puzzle piece, like puzzles. Each part is different and unique, but it fits together, and it's different because it works that way. We need to be different. To be able to be a whole, we need to be different. So there are beliefs in white supremacy that is ingrained into us as a culture, which is the effect of things like boarding schools and assimilation and being pushed out, being enslaved, being indentured servants, being forced to, being demonized. Our spirituality is being demonized and things like that. It's all connected. It's all part of it, and it's very subtle, and it's ingrained. That's how you ingrain somebody, and how you condition somebody is to be subtle about it. So I have a few, like I have like 5 or 6. Can you turn on? And so I have them all like written out one by one. And so number 1, it has a belief system, like what the belief is, and then it goes into detail about the white supremacy belief, and then it goes into detail of how that belief affects an individual, and then it goes into deep depth about where this specifically comes from. Like how was it ingrained into you and your culture? Like this might not have been ingrained to you this specific way, but it came to you, for example, boarding school, and then that became a societal belief. So, even if your family, even if you don't have anybody in your family tree that went to boarding school specifically, the fact that was their friend, or it became a societal belief. It changed the culture. It changed the society of the Native people, and so it goes down. That belief goes down in the line. Their mother raised them this way, and then they raised their kid that way, and they raised that kid that way, and then also that's how it goes into generations, but also it goes into like society, like friends or coworkers or bosses or aunts, uncles, extended family, extended. It's just it seeps out into everything. And then it goes into detail on how to decolonize this belief. So I have 6 of these. It goes into detail. So it talks about specifically what the belief is and how to go about changing it, right? The next part is specifically mantras, affirmations, and like journaling, like shadow work, really getting into depth about looking inside of your own self and writing down what if this means to you, what is going on in your own head, what in your own life. And so I have like 5 journal prompts. Journal prompts. I have 5 journal prompts for each of these beliefs, to help you decolonize it even further. And with each of these prompts, there's a mantra. Not with each of the prompts, but each of the after each 5, there's a mantra that goes with those 5 prompts. And then after that, if you're really spiritual and there are rituals, 5 or 6 rituals, and each one correlates with each of these beliefs. And it really goes into depth, about history and how this affects psychologically and spiritually, and goes into depth about shadow work and rituals. And so I'm gonna be selling this for about, it's like a whole workbook with all this stuff, and I'm gonna be selling it on Etsy for about $17. $17. And hopefully I can put the link in the description. I've tried that before in another video, and for some reason like something happened where I wasn't able to put a link. So but I really want to like emphasize this, like it's really important. I'm not trying to like sell you something really, but it's more about the fact that this is important to work through on yourself, with your for society as a whole, decolonizing these beliefs. And it's only $17 with all this information and all this exercises and work to do and magic. It's all written out, specifically like the purpose of this, each ritual, and goes into detail what exactly you'll need. And none of these tools that you need is really high price items. Like probably items that you already have in your house, like mirrors, bowls, candles, things like that. It doesn't really go into too deep about like herbs or crystals or anything like that. But you can use those too. But it's really, the rituals are really for like more specific, like people who don't really have a lot or don't really know that much about witchcraft or magic or paganism. Anybody can do these spells, basically. But you can add to them and if you want to use gods or specific crystals and herbs and things like that. So I'm going to be selling this whole workbook for about $17 on my Etsy account. And my Etsy account is, I'm trying to remember the name, because I have a few, but there is one that I don't use. It's Nyx's Grove by Night. Hopefully I will have the link in the description as well. If not, I can put it in the comment, hopefully. Yeah, I really encourage you to go and look at that. Maybe get it for Christmas for yourself to really work through what you need to work through for your own self about these kinds of beliefs and things like that. So, on top of that, I also have some spiritual guidance, priestess guidance, therapy, personalized therapy, pre-recorded videos. Like, it's not pre-recorded for everybody. It's not generalized. It's actually personalized. You go and put in all the information, what you want specifically to work on, and in a few days, not even a few days, like more like a few hours or a day, you will get a plan, a personalized plan, like a document, and then you will start getting a video once a week for a month. And you can also put into like the personalization. You can say you want 1 month, or you can say you can want more. You can go back and get another one if you want, but for the most part is 1 month and a 30-minute video once a week. So there's that as well, and you can specifically talk about like Native American identity crisis, thing like that. So what else? My blog, but it doesn't really, it's not really that, it's more about personalization, like personalized to me, my blog. Doesn't really go into what we're talking about today. So thanks for watching, and blessed be. Bye.